earlier in the show,
That's the
when
Spanish version of Joni Mitchell.
Mucho
gracias.
Mucho gracias.
That was a Spanish
Mucho
remix.
gracias por ti. So when you sat down with us earlier, one of the first things I said to you was Fred VanVleet last night. So Raptors go and play the Clippers in L.A. Kawhi Leonard beats them again. The Raptors have not had a good stretch. The free throws in this game were Clippers 31, Raptors 14.
Right.
And Fred VanVleet got teed up at one point in this game, correct?
Third quarter, about 7-minute mark, yeah.
Okay. Now, last game, officials were a big story in Denver. Last night, same thing. Fred VanVleet, after the game is over, takes a shower, puts on some clothes, walks into the media room, and in the calmest possible way, eviscerates the officiating crew unlike anything I've heard from any Toronto Raptor. And I'm being serious. In my entire life, we got a minute of this, and we had to censor it. Here it is.
I mean, I don't mind. I'll take a fine. I don't really care. I thought, Ben Taylor was terrible tonight. I thought that on most nights, a couple of the, out of the three, there's one or two that just the game up. And it's been like that a couple games in a row. Denver was tough, obviously. You come out tonight, you're competing pretty hard. The third quarter, I get a tech, changes the whole dynamic of the game, changes the whole flow of the game. And, most of the refs are trying hard. I like a lot of the refs are trying hard. They're pretty fair. They communicate well. And then you got the other ones who just want to be and just kind of the game up. Nobody's coming to see that. They come to see the players. And I think we're losing a little bit of the fabric of what the NBA is and was, and it's been disappointing this season. You could look up most of my texts this year have been with Ben Taylor officiating. So at a certain point as a player, you feel it's personal, and it's never a good place to be. That's not why we lost tonight. We got outplayed, but it definitely makes it tougher to overcome.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo! Devo Brown, your take. Oh, applause. Applause for Devo Brown.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. You look back at the technical fouls that he got. He got one for throwing the ball. The stanchion that's under the basket. He threw the ball against that. He got a technical foul for that. He didn't fire it and whip it. He just went like this and caught the ball. Got technical from that same guy. He went like this one time, got a technical, and got kicked out of the game from that same referee. Now, the NBA had been mired in scandal, and they said Tim Donaghy is a name that you might have heard. You might have watched the documentary on Netflix where there was sports gambling and things like that involved, and this guy was guilty of doing that. There were other referees that are still officiating to this day in the NBA that were on his call log that he would call after games. Never investigated, never talked about. They're still playing. That aside, he's right. There are too many close games that are being decided by people who do not have on a team uniform. That is not why I go to watch the NBA. I go to watch skilled, talented players on that court, playing hard, trying to win. That's what I enjoy about basketball. Not a referee deciding who's going to win, who's going to lose, and that's happened way too often for the Toronto Raptors this season.
So I have to ask, because, I'm kind of new to this sort of scenario here. This is a typically nice guy, doesn't, speak out too loud.
He's one of the more respected guys in the NBA who rarely does that.
Right, so first
rarely
off,
does that.
For effect, the F word can be very important.
As I know. As I know.
In the right audience. The only thing I have to say is if he is perceived differently by people, that could be an issue because, the first thing you said, he's a nice guy, well-respected. Is this going to change public perspective? And then the other thing, and it sort of speaks to what you're saying, Devo, is how it also emphasizes how bad does it have to be for somebody who probably would prefer not to express himself that way. How bad does it have to be? And I think for a fact, that is a very important discussion, to your point, Devo.
100%. Look, if I have an issue with anyone here at Rogers and above me, and I go upstairs and I talk like that, I may be right, but there are consequences for that. And there's a lot of Raptor fans, I'm not singling out Devo or anyone else, there's a lot of Raptor fans living in the clouds on this, like that's not going to hurt the team. That's going to hurt the team.
For sure it is.
And as far as I'm concerned, you got to keep that in-house, or at least go to the league privately. If you have the real beef, have Masai do it, have GM Bobby Webster do it. The Raptor fans out there clapping and applauding, okay, that's fine. You got to run into these refs again. Nothing good is going to come out of that. As entertaining as that was, not a thing, and he's a leader in the room, nothing good is going to come out of that. And it starts with Nick Nurse, who complains after every call for this team, and it's now trickling down. There needs to be a discussion in that organization. I didn't like that, and I think they're going to pay for it. But that's just my opinion.
You don't think that starts a conversation among the league?
No. Are you kidding?
The league has a problem.
The Raptors are 10th in the East. What do they care?
Fine. The league has a problem.
What does the league care about the Toronto Raptors?
He name-checked an official who messed up the game. These refs are going to look back.
But in his opinion, it messed up the game.
It's going to start a conversation with the league. You're going to see something. Something's going to happen. He's going to get suspended, 100%. But something's going to happen with that.
Kevin Fourchette is going to complain about me if I don't go to breaking news.
Sorry.
There's a lot going on. Fies over to you. You're watching BT.